This thrilling story begins with an old man named Milton who lived in a town. In fact, Milton was very lonely in his life. Many years ago, his wife died in an accident, and now his son had left him. Only his daughter, whose name was Stacy, would come home to see her father, but even Stacy didn't talk much to Milton. As Milton was getting older, his habits were getting worse. He would forget things very easily, and Stacy was covering all his medical expenses. Milton would go to the town's head council every week where people would bring their complaints. There, Milton would tell the judges that a road should be built in front of his house. However, such a big project couldn't be undertaken for just one person, so all the council members would tell Milton to leave, indicating that they couldn't forward his request. After coming home, Stacy would give Milton his medicines because he wouldn't take them properly himself. Though Stacy gave him the number of a therapist to help with his deteriorating memory, Milton insisted that he hadn't lost any memory, that he was perfectly fine, and that he wouldn't see any therapist. Stacy didn't argue much with her father and left after giving him his medicines. Milton would go to the council each time, only to be humiliated and sent back, but he always presented his request to the council. One day, when Milton was at home, he heard something fall in the garden. When he went to check immediately, he found a large spaceship had landed there, destroying the entire garden. Seeing all this, Milton became very scared and started calling security officers directly. Unfortunately, the security officers didn't believe him when he mentioned the spaceship, thinking that Milton's mental state was deteriorating and that he was talking nonsense, so they disconnected the call immediately. Milton gets very angry about this, but he dismisses it all as a bad dream and forgets about it. The next day, he goes to the council again and repeats his request for a road to be built in front of his house. However, the council members once again disappoint him and tell him to leave. Milton also mentions that a large spaceship landed in his garden, and he saw an alien coming out of it. But still, none of the council members believe him, and they all start laughing at Milton's words. Just then, one of Milton's neighbors arrives and announces to the council that she has written some books that should be read by the elderly in the town to give them courage and help them feel less lonely. The council approves this idea, and the book is to be sent to all the elderly and lonely people in the town. As they leave, the neighbor tells Milton that he shouldn't talk about such things in front of the council as it creates fear among the people. But how could Milton explain that he wasn't joking and that a spaceship had actually landed in his garden, and an alien had emerged from it? When Milton returns to his garden, he sees that the alien is still there and alive but appears to be very cold. Feeling pity for the alien, Milton brings a blanket and gives it to him, and also offers him water. He then invites the alien to come inside the house. The alien, being very weak, slowly comes inside. Milton gives him a lot of food, but the alien only eats a slice of apple after saying something, making Milton think that perhaps the alien likes apples. So, Milton immediately goes to the supermarket and buys a lot of apples. At the counter, he says that he is buying all these apples for his alien guest because he likes them very much. The employee at the counter is stunned upon hearing this, thinking that perhaps Milton has gone mad and is talking nonsense. Milton then goes straight back home and talks to the alien in a very friendly manner. Milton had given the alien a separate room to stay in because, after his daughter and son left, he lived alone in the house. Milton told the alien everything he did throughout the day, watching TV, going outside, and resting a lot. Milton also shared about his family, saying that his wife had died many years ago, which was why his son had left him. Only his daughter visited him occasionally. The alien didn't respond but continued to listen to Milton's words. Milton was sitting on the sofa with the news on TV. The news reported that scientists had recently discovered that an unknown object had collided with Earth, which could be a spaceship or an asteroid, but they hadn't figured it out yet. They urged anyone with information to report it immediately. However, Milton wasn't paying much attention to the news as he was busy with something else. The alien was gradually approaching Milton. It seemed that the alien's condition had improved, so Milton started talking to him, saying, "Come and watch this dance. It's very entertaining and will lift your spirits." Meanwhile, we see Milton's daughter, Stacy, shopping at the supermarket. The employee there tells Stacy about her father, mentioning that he had said he was buying a lot of apples for an alien. The employee couldn't understand why he said that but felt it important to inform Stacy. This made Stacy very worried about her father's behavior, so she took a half-day off and went straight to her father's house. Stacy urged her father to see a consultant to help with his memory problems. This time, Milton agreed because he didn't want his daughter to meet the alien. After saying this, Stacy left. The alien was still sitting on the sofa, watching TV. After a while, Milton received a call from his neighbor, the writer. She said she needed to print something and asked if she could use his printer. Milton agreed and invited her over to his house. When she entered, she saw the alien sitting on the sofa and was very scared. Milton reassured her, explaining that he had mentioned before that an alien was living in his house and that he was treating it like a human. He explained everything to her and took her to the garden to show her the crashed spaceship. He told her that the spaceship had landed a few days ago and that the alien had come out of it. Since then, he had been keeping the alien inside his house. The writer began to understand everything Milton was saying and decided not to tell anyone about the alien. They both agreed that the alien didn't seem harmful and that they should keep it a secret from the government. They feared that if the government found out, they would conduct unknown experiments on the alien. So, they decided to keep everything about the alien a secret. Meanwhile, we see government security officers trying their best to locate the spaceship. The FBI had also joined them because they needed to find out where the alien and its spaceship had crashed and how. While Milton was sleeping, the alien started drawing strange pictures. When Milton woke up and saw the drawings, he realized that the alien had drawn various types of cats on a piece of paper. Milton thought the alien had made the drawings for him and went to look at them. At that moment, the alien was trying to fix its spaceship and appeared to be in good condition. The alien needed to repair the spaceship to return to its planet. Now, we see Milton visiting a brain doctor on his daughter's advice. The doctor was thoroughly examining Milton and gathering his reports. The doctor asked Milton various questions to determine the appropriate treatment, but Milton gave all the wrong answers, leading to a very negative report. Since Milton was not at home, the alien was alone, and the writer came to keep it company. She sat down and started talking to the alien, emotionally sharing that her daughter lives in another city and recently had a baby, but she hasn't seen her grandchild yet because her daughter seems to have forgotten about her after moving away. The alien could feel her emotions but did not say anything. Meanwhile, the brain doctor told Milton that his condition was very serious. She explained to his daughter, Stacy, that if his condition continued to deteriorate, he could go mad. The doctor recommended either hiring an assistant to stay with Milton or sending him to a nursing home where he would be under constant supervision. However, Milton did not want any of this. He became very angry and started to walk away from Stacy, who tried to explain that it was for his own good. Milton kept refusing, insisting that he was not mad and did not need any of these arrangements. Milton returned home very upset, and when the writer asked him how his checkup went, he did not respond and went straight to his room. The alien observed all of this. The next day, Milton went to the alien, who was working on repairing its spaceship, and started talking to it. He shared how his daughter suspected that he was completely mad and that nobody took him seriously because he was old. This made him very sad because people didn't want to stay with him. Feeling down, Milton went back inside his house and called his son, trying to convince him to return home. He told his son how much he missed him and how lonely he was. But as always, Milton's son didn't talk to him and disconnected the call. Now, we see the singer who was continuously watching the news. She noticed that the government announced rewards for anyone who could provide information about spaceships and aliens. The singer immediately recalled that Milton had mentioned an alien and a spaceship a few days ago, so she decided to check Milton's garden to clear her doubts. However, Milton had already invited her inside. At the dining table, the writer and Milton were seated, and right in front of them was the alien, which shocked the singer. She couldn't understand if such aliens even existed. Milton and the writer then told her that she must not tell anyone about this alien, as it could put the alien's life in danger. The next day, we learned that the singer and writer had dressed the alien nicely and lovingly named him Jules. Both were treating the alien very well, and the singer often talked to the alien. The singer told the alien that she had always wanted to become a big singer, but now she had aged and her voice wasn't as strong. However, her dream was to become a singer one day. Now, we see the writer who had written a book for old people. A man had called the writer saying he needed those books for his grandfather. So, the writer invited him to provide the books. They had a nice conversation about the book. The man then asked the writer if he could use the restroom, so the writer showed him the way. But after some time, the man didn't return, so the writer went inside to check. She realized that the man was trying to steal from her house. The writer wanted to make noise to call for help, but the man caught her and started hitting her. Milton was still at his house with the alien. But now, the alien had sensed through its visions that the writer was being attacked by an unknown man. Though it couldn't speak, it used its mental powers to link its mind cells with the man's mind cells. By exerting a little bit of its power, the man's head exploded, and he died instantly. Soon after this incident, the police arrived and started questioning the writer, but she couldn't understand how it all happened. The police were also confused about how someone could be killed in such a manner, so the case was handed over to the FBI. They began closely monitoring the writer. After much thought, the writer realized that it was the alien, Jules, who had saved her. She immediately went to Milton's house, hugged Jules, and thanked him. Jules said nothing and remained as silent as ever, continuing to repair his spaceship. The next day, Milton went to the supermarket again and bought a lot of apples for Jules. However, his daughter confronted him, asking what he did with so many apples. Milton didn't answer her and left. Back home, he was having dinner with the writer and the singer when they heard some noise from outside. Upon investigating, they found a dead cat, which Jules had brought in. Milton and the others realized that Jules might need 7 cats because he often drew pictures of 7 cats on paper. One dead cat was already with him, meaning he needed 6 more. They began to suspect that this was some kind of ritual for Jules to return to his home. Milton then called his daughter, who worked in the animal department, to ask where dead cats were usually buried. Stacy was a bit scared and puzzled as to why her father was asking such a question. Although she didn't provide any answers, she began keeping an eye on them. After all this, Milton, the writer, and the singer set out to collect the dead cat bodies for the alien. They needed 6 more dead cats for Jules. They searched throughout the town, but their attention was diverted when a cat suddenly ran into their car and died immediately. Unable to do anything, they put the dead cat inside their car. Some FBI officers witnessed this but couldn't understand why they were collecting dead cat bodies. As a result, their surveillance on them was intensified. On the way, they found another dead cat, which they added to their collection, bringing the total to 3 dead cats. The singer then informed Milton that she had spotted a place where dead cat bodies could be found, so she advised him to stop worrying about the remaining cats. The singer worked hard and managed to collect 3 more dead cat bodies from around the town. With a total of 6 dead cat bodies now, only 1 more was needed. Suddenly, the singer noticed that FBI officers had arrived at their house for questioning. The trio was terrified and remained silent, leading the officers to believe that no one was home, so they left. Milton then told the singer and the writer that they needed 1 more dead cat body. Milton decided to kill the singer's cat because it was already very sick. When the singer heard this, she was furious and went inside her house. It was her beloved cat, and she couldn't believe Milton would suggest killing it. She became deeply depressed and started crying. The writer tried to explain to the singer that Milton might have said this under pressure, but the singer eventually came to realize that Milton might be right. Her cat was already very ill. And I can't see her in more pain. I should have put my cat out of her misery earlier. It would have been better for her, as I couldn't bear to see her suffer. So, for the last time, the singer looks at her cat and gives it a peaceful sleep, meaning she had put her own cat to death. The alien had also arrived, having collected the 7 dead cat bodies. He placed them together near his spaceship and covered them with a silver cloth. In the next moment, all the cat bodies began to combine into a red diamond, which the alien used as fuel for his spaceship. Because of this, his spaceship was now completely repaired and was ready to fly. Jules was able to return to his planet. However, when Jules opened the door of his spaceship, he invited Milton to come with him, as Milton was quite lonely and had no children. Jules wanted Milton to join him on his planet. As Milton was considering this, he received a call from his daughter, Stacy, who apologized for her previous behavior. She expressed that she was proud to have him as her father and would never leave him. Hearing this, Milton became very emotional and realized that Stacy would always be with him and that he was happy here. Therefore, he declined Jules' offer and decided to stay on Earth with his family. While they were talking, FBI officers arrived because they had heard the spaceship starting. Jules asked everyone to get inside the spaceship to avoid the FBI officers. He quickly took off, and by the time the FBI officers arrived, they had already left. Jules stopped the spaceship in an area outside the city and let everyone out. Milton had decided to stay on Earth, but the 3 of them thanked Jules for his kindness. Even though he had only been here for a short time, his behavior towards humans had been very good. Milton thanked Jules by holding his hand, and Jules then boarded his spaceship and flew off to a distant place. After Jules departed, although Milton remained alone, he had gained 2 good friends, the writer and the singer. The 3 of them would now always meet together, sharing their joys and sorrows, and discussing their troubles with each other. This made Milton no longer feel alone. Thanks to Jules, Milton had found 2 good friends, and that's where our story ends.